Hello and welcome to Candidates on the Clock, hosted by the Newton Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Dual Deco Search Engine Marketing and Onyx Media Services. I'm your host, Lanier Sims. Today we're joined by Brent Bennett, who's running for Tax Commissioner. Mr. Bennett, could you begin by introducing yourself, provide us a summary of your background in tax administration or related fields? Also, could you outline your platform as a candidate for tax commissioner and share with us what drove you to run for this position?
Thank you, Mr. Sims, for having me here this afternoon. Thank you to the Newton Chamber as well. This is an enticing opportunity to speak to the citizens here in Newton County. So, for background, I actually have a tremendous amount of experience in the tax commissioner realm. I actually worked for the DeKalb County Tax Commissioner's Office for 15 years, the last 10 or the last decade as their motor vehicle director, had a staff of about 60 people. Most people may not know this, but tax commissioners are agents of the Georgia Department of Revenue. After leaving the DeKalb County Tax Commissioner's Office, I went to work for the Georgia Department of Revenue as the Revenue's Deputy Motor Vehicle Director. I did that for 2 years. I was in charge of operations, call center operations, IRP operations as well. And subsequently, after 2 years, I was promoted to Director of the Motor Vehicle Division. And this is a very wide-ranging role. I had a staff of about 120 people, and my job was basically to train and to coach tax commissioners, provide them with Tier 2 support, and provide them with training across the state. So that's very, very significant and indicates my reason for actually my ability to do the job. I also have, educationally, I have a bachelor's degree in management from James Madison University, as well as a master's degree in human resources management from Keller Graduate School of Management. The reason why I wanted to do this job is simply because I wanted to give back to my local community. I've worked for DeKalb County for 15 years. I've worked for the state for 7 years now, and my mantra is to give back, and I'm going to bring my experience home back to Newton County. I am the best and most qualified candidate in this tax commissioner race.
Thank you. So we're going to jump into a few questions. So question number one, in light of concerns regarding prolonged wait times, unreturned phone calls, and the closure of the tax commissioner's office during lunch hours, a time when many citizens are available, what strategies will you implement to enhance customer service efficiency and accessibility?
Very, very good question. So for me, I think we need a holistic review of the entire customer service experience. And I think you've named some of them here, whether it's answering phone calls, whether it's, I don't even see answering emails, because that's a critical component. I think we need to have a multi-channel customer service environment, right? Where if somebody wants to have service at 2 a.m. in the morning, they should actually have availability to do that online. So I've done quite a few things when I was at the Georgia Department of Revenue. One of the things that I did was to expand the kiosk program. We do have a kiosk here in the county. I would like to expand that as well. I would also really seriously take a look at that lunch hour option. I think we need to be able to serve customers between the hours of 8 to 4:45, as we're currently scheduled, and not part of the day, because some people may want to run off for lunch, etc. So I think for me, the first thing I would do as far as the phone calls is I would identify a particular employees to have a business unit specifically to handle phone calls as well as email responses. I have tremendous experience in the call center realm, so I could easily set up a mini call center to handle those calls, create niche to how we want to direct the calls. Another thing I would love to do is look at doing on the website, I forget what it's called, but I want to do some different things with the website to give people opportunities. What I was going to say was a chat feature. We have AI. We have to utilize technology such as AI to answer simple questions. A lot of times people just want to know whether you're open, whether you're closed, how do I renew your tag, etc. And those things are easy to do with AI because you can add that to your website. Very simple things to do. Again, for me, it's about accessibility, having multi-channel approach, and that would include phones, emails, in-person chat, all the opportunities that are available, an updated website, time, all avenues available to customers, and that's what I would want to do.
Thank you. Next question. Many citizens lack clarity regarding the role and responsibility of the tax commissioner. What initiatives do you propose to educate taxpayers and their rights and their responsibilities concerning taxes, and how do you intend to enhance public awareness and understanding of the tax commissioner's role?
Right. I think the understanding of the tax commissioner's role is not just the tax commissioner responsibility alone. As we all know, we just got for those of us that own homes, we got our assessments recently, and that's the big thing, right? We got assessments, and everybody's calling me and saying, how do you lower my taxes? Well, unfortunately, that's not the tax commissioner's role. So to your point, how do we fix that? I plan on collaborating with other business units within the county. For example, the tax assessors, which is their role to set the values. I think we can do it together. We can create videos, right? I think we can also go out into the public and have public meetings. I also want to combine that with an education piece with the Board of Commissioners as well. I think they're very important to this process. The Board of Commissioners, tax assessors, tax commissioners, school board, cities, we all need to sit together and come up with a plan of how we want to execute that, how we want to educate the public. I don't think that's just the tax commissioner role. But yes, it's very important that people understand the tax commissioner's role is to bill, collect, and disperse taxes. In addition to doing motor vehicle transactions, property tax transactions, but primarily the summary is to bill, collect, and to disperse, not to set millage or tax rates or not to assess property values. And yes, I would take a full steam ahead. I would work with various different citizen groups, such as senior citizen centers. I would also reach out to the military as well, military veteran groups, I should say, to help and let people understand. But primarily, we have a lot of homeowners associations. Get a group together. We could go out there and have those weekly or monthly meetings. And I would invite people to request the tax commissioner to come speak at their events, whether that's a homeowners association, a veterans group, or anybody for that matter. I'd be more than willing to step out and do that.
Thank you. Next question, how do you plan to increase transparency in financial reporting and provide taxpayers with a clear insight into how their tax dollars are being utilized within the county?
Great question. For me, I think this is a pretty simple answer. As I indicated in my previous answer to my answer to the previous question, the tax commissioner's role is to bill, collect, and disperse taxes. How do we tell people that we do that? How do we demonstrate that? It's a really easy solution for me. I would create an annual report. That annual report, I would have it completed by sometime early in the second quarter or maybe at the end of the first quarter. That would demonstrate that. How much money we collected, how many transactions that we did, how many people we served, right? How many homestead exemptions we've processed. And I would put that and compile that in an annual report and make it transparent. Put it on the website. Print a few copies to some selected legislative officers so that they have easy access to that information. But to me, that's what we need to do. That promotes transparency. It clearly tells people, here's the money that we received, and here's where we dispersed it. Most people don't realize that when the tax commissioner collects monies, they have to disperse that to the various levying authorities, whether that be the school board, the cities, or the county. And so we put that on a piece of paper, on a document, on a website, make everybody aware of it. I think that's our solution.
Thank you. Next question, how will you collaborate with other county departments and agencies to streamline processes and improve service delivery?
Well, again, I said something earlier, right? We have to understand that we're all in this together. No one man is an island. So, and I'm very well aware of that. So for me, I'm a collaborator. And I'll give you an example. In my prior role at the tax commissioner's, not necessarily the tax commissioner's office, at the Department of Revenue, as the motor vehicle director, I knew going into that role, the relationship between the tax commissioners and the Department of Revenue was not the best. So what did I do? I set out to develop a committee of 5 tax commissioners, along with my staff, to better collaborate and have better efficiencies. So the tax commissioners were able to tell us, here are our pain points, here's how we want you to fix them, and we were able to work with them and show them some of our deliveries that we could deliver. I would do the same thing here in Newton County. I would work with the tax assessors department, I would work with the Board of Commissioners, I would work with any department. I would have a quarterly meeting with the school board, tax assessors, some members in the financial department, or whoever it is that we can bring to the table to understand how we could improve and streamline these processes. Because at the end of the day, one hand can't clap. We have to get together, we have to work together for the unity and the purpose of serving Newton County.
Thank you. Next question, what measures will you implement to ensure that employees within the tax commissioner's office receive adequate training, particularly in customer service skills, to better assist and support taxpayers in Newton County?
Great question, and it's something that I've always done. For me, my background is in HR. I have a master's degree in HR, and training is a huge component of what I do. I'll give you another example. I like to give illustrations of examples. When I went to the Georgia Department of Revenue, we had a 5-hour wait time in our call center. And I remember telling my wife, I might have bit off more than I could chew. But she said, no, you can do it. You're very skilled at what you do. So what I did is I set out to do a few things. I set out to develop a training program, and I developed several different training modules. And what I realized was employees wanted to be trained. Employees wanted to be educated. Employees wanted to know their job. And so for me, I would develop a training unit or identify a person that can be my trainer that I can develop, right? Ultimately, I also believe in professional development. I would bring in from the outside an expert on customer service to train the staff and make them understand. And I would hold people accountable ultimately, because to me, as a leader, you have to change. You have to be adaptive to change, and everyone has to understand that change is inevitable. As I said in another forum, I said the only constant is change, and people have to understand the status quo is not good enough. If you're a leader and you're accepting what we do today, then you're going to fail. You always have to continue to improve. And for me, I would provide the necessary training, especially in the area of motor vehicle and property tax. I have the subject matter knowledge and experience, in addition to the know-how, and I have the support system in place. For example, I'm the only one in this race that could pick up the phone and call the DOR commissioner. I'm the only one in this room or in this race that could pick up the phone and call the Department of Driver Services commissioner. Why? I know them. I've worked for them both. I've worked with them both. And everybody wants to see me be a success. So yes, for me, it's about, in my opinion, it's about providing adequate training. But everybody's going to say training, but it's about how you execute it. I've demonstrated my ability to do that in the past in my previous jobs, and I fully expect to do the same thing here in the Newton County Tax Commissioner's Office.
Thank you. Next question, what innovative strategies do you propose for enhancing tax collection processes and ensuring compliance among taxpayers in Newton County?
Well, I'm fully aware that delinquent collections is a major issue in this county. And I've mentioned to people before, and I'll say to this forum, that the issue in Newton County is the issue of subjectivity versus objectivity. We have to do things in an objective manner. We cannot pick and choose who we collect from. We have to do it in the right way. But I would also say this. We as a people have to understand I have a job to do, but at the end of the day, I have to be smart. I have to be smart in how I execute that. I understand our biggest concern is our seniors. And the goal is never to take anyone's house or to take anyone's property. So there are some things in the tax commissioner's toolbox that you can use. With a property that's delinquent, you can use an intent to FIFA. You'll collect probably 40% of your delinquent taxes in that manner. You also have the ability in the toolbox to make payment plans. We've got to get people that have delinquent taxes to come into the office and talk to us. And we can continue to send letters, continue to make phone calls. And I don't want this to be intimidating because I understand people are stressed. Nobody wants to be behind. And I will utilize the tools that are in the tax commissioner's toolbox, which are things like intent to FIFAs, which are payment plans, to still work with our citizens. And I could show the senior citizens, you come see me, we will work together to keep you in your property.
Thank you. And thank you for participating in Candidates on the Clock. At this time, can you close us out with any additional information about you, your campaign, and how the voters can get in touch with you?
So absolutely. The best way to get in contact with the campaign is to go on our website at www.electbrentbennett.com, or you can email us at info@electbrentbennett.com. Now, from my vantage point, I'll tell you a little bit about me. And I've tried a little bit before, but I'm clearly the most ready, willing candidate from day one. There's no one in this race that could tell you they could do the things that I can do. No one in this race has the experience that I possess. So I fully expect and I hope that I could get the support of the Newton County constituents in this race come May 21st.
Thank you.
Thank you.